Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we are going to discuss about objective questions to help you with the preparation for prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. mRNA 1644, recently seen in the news, refers to which of the following? So many of you have answered it correctly. So whenever we read mRNA, that means messenger RNA. Okay, so it is related to a vaccine, and the correct answer to this question is in HIV vaccine. Okay, so moving forward, let's know more about it. Moderna, the Massachusetts-based American biotechnology company, will begin human trials for its novel mRNA vaccine, mRNA 1644, for the HIV, that is human immunodeficiency virus. This is the first trial for an mRNA vaccine for HIV after the success of mRNA vaccine with COVID-19. According to the World Health Organization, there were around 37.7 million living with HIV as of 2020. Moving on, consider the following statements. Proactive governance and timely implementation has been designed by IIT Kharagpur. Interaction through PRAGATI is held once every month on 4th Wednesday, known as PRAGATI Day. We have to select the correct statement. So, proactive governance and timely implementation, that is PRAGATI. It has been developed by the Prime Minister's Office with the help of National Informatics Center. So the first statement is incorrect. The second is definitely correct. So the correct answer to this question is option B. Recently, the Prime Minister chaired a meeting of the 37th edition of the PRAGATI, the ICT-based multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation involving the center as well as state governments. It was launched in the year 2015. It is the multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation involving central and state governments. It has been designed by the Prime Minister's Office team with the help of National Informatics Center. Interaction through PRAGATI is held once every month on 4th Wednesday, which is known as PRAGATI Day. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐿 21. It is a joint training exercise between the armies of India and Kazakhstan. It is the first edition of joint training exercise to ever happen between India and Kazakhstan, and it will be conducted at Pune, India. We have to select the correct statement. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐿, yes, it is a joint training exercise between the armies of India and Kazakhstan, and it is the 5th edition this time and not the first ever. It is being held in Aisha Bibi in Kazakhstan. Okay, so these two statements are incorrect. We have to select the correct one. The correct answer is option A, one only. As a part of military diplomacy and to strengthen the growing strategic relations with Kazakhstan, the Indo-Kazakhstan Joint Training Exercise 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐿 21 will be conducted from 30th of August to 11th September 21. It is the 5th edition, and also that it will be conducted at Training Node Aisha Bibi in Kazakhstan. Moving on, consider the following statements. Sree Narayana Guru was the proponent of Advaita Vedanta. Sree Narayana Guru provided the impetus for Viacom agitation, which was aimed at temple entry for lower castes. We have to select the correct statement. Both these statements are actually correct. So the correct answer is option C. Recently, the Prime Minister paid tributes to Sree Narayana Guru on his birth anniversary, who became one of the greatest proponents and re-evaluators of Advaita Vedanta, the principle of non-duality put forward by Adi Shankara. He provided the impetus for Viacom agitation, which was aimed at temple entry in Travancore for the lower castes. It drew nationwide attention and appreciation from Mahatma Gandhi. Moving on, consider the following statements. Global Manufacturing Risk Index is released by the International Monetary Fund. It assesses the most advantageous locations for global manufacturing among 47 countries in Europe, the Americas and Asia Pacific. We have to select the incorrect statement. Global Manufacturing Risk Index. It is not published by International Monetary Fund, but US-based property consultant Cushman and Wakefield. Okay, Cushman and Wakefield. Keep that in mind. And the second statement is correct. The first one is incorrect. The correct answer to this question is option A, one only. Recently, India has overtaken the United States to become the second most sought after manufacturing destination globally, driven mainly by cost competitiveness in the Global Manufacturing Risk Index. The first is China. Global Manufacturing Risk Index assesses the most advantageous locations for global manufacturing among 47 countries in Europe and Americas and Asia Pacific. and the index is released by US-based property consultant Cushman & Wakefield. Moving on, consider the following statements. Brahmos Aerospace is a joint venture of ISRO, India and NPO, Mashinio-Stroyenia, NPOM, from Russia. Brahmos is a two-stage air-to-surface supersonic cruise missile with a flight range of around 300 kilometers. We have to select the correct statement. Okay, so the first statement is incorrect because this is a joint venture of DRDO and not ISRO with NPOM of Russia. And the second statement is correct, as we had to select the correct one. The correct answer is option B, 2 only. Recently, the Uttar Pradesh government said that the next generation state-of-the-art Brahmos missile will be manufactured in the state, with the Brahmos Aerospace company planning to set up a plant in the Defence Industrial Corridor. Brahmos Aerospace is a joint venture of DRDO, of Government of India and NPOM, the Government of Russia. Brahmos is a two-stage air-to-surface supersonic cruise missile with a flight range of around 300 km. Moving on, consider the following countries: Algeria, Mauritania, Niger, Senegal, Ghana, Benin. Which of the above mentioned countries share a border with the country of Mali? Mali shares its borders with Algeria, Niger, Mauritania and also Senegal, but not Benin and Ghana. Okay, so the correct answer should be 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is option B. India has strongly condemned the recent terrorist attack on a convoy of the Malian armed forces in the Mopti region that resulted in the killing of 15 Malian soldiers. Mali, officially the Republic of Mali, is a landlocked country in West Africa and it is the 7th largest country in Africa, bordering Algeria on the north, Niger on the east, Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire on the south, Guinea on the southwest and Senegal and Mauritania on the west, as you can see with the help of the map. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements with respect to fair and remunerative price. It is determined on the recommendation of the Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices and is announced by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, which is chaired by the Prime Minister. The state-advised prices are announced by key sugarcane producing states, which are generally higher than fair and remunerative price. We have to select the correct statement. Both these statements are correct. The correct answer to this question is option C, both 1 and 2. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved fair and remunerative price FRP of sugarcane for sugar season 21 to 22 at Rs 290 per quintal for a basic recovery rate of 10%. Sugarcane prices are determined by federal government and state government. The federal or central government announces fair and remunerative prices which are determined on the recommendation of CSEP but are announced by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, which is chaired by the PM. The state-advised prices are announced by key sugarcane producing states which are generally higher than FRP. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to One Nation, One Ration card. It will be a universal ration card allotted to each beneficiary registered under NFSA National Food Security Act. That is, a beneficiary who migrates from one place to another can buy subsidized food grains from the fair price shops located in the destination city regardless of the origin of the beneficiaries, and there will not be the need of the Aadhaar card of the beneficiaries if they are already having a ration card. We have to select the incorrect statement. So, One Nation, One Ration. This is a universal ration card which is allotted to each beneficiary registered under National Food Security Act, especially for those migrant laborers who go from one state to another in search of employment. And also, a beneficiary who migrates from one place to another can buy subsidized food grains from the fair price shops located in destination city regardless of the origin. Wherever, suppose a migrant is from the state of Uttar Pradesh but he goes to Maharashtra for employment, and he or she can buy the subsidized food grains from that place as well, from the fair price shop, and it will not matter that the migrant is from the Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Moving on, the third statement is actually incorrect because there will be a need of Aadhaar card. As we had to select the incorrect statement, the correct answer is option C. The Prime Minister yesterday chaired the meeting of the 37th edition of the PRAGATI, and we have discussed about PRAGATI. During the interaction, he reviewed the scheme of One Nation, One Ration card. It will be a universal ration card allotted to each beneficiary registered under NFSA Using the ONO, One Nation, One Ration card, a beneficiary, we have discussed this, so we shall move forward. And the beneficiaries will be identified through biometric authentication on electronic point of sale devices. These devices will be installed at each fair price shop. Aadhaar cards will be seeded with ration cards, which will help beneficiaries get the ration using the same ration card. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to drone rules of 21. As per the rules, the coverage of drones has been increased from 300 to 500 kilograms. To include heavy payload carrying drones and drone taxis, the number of permissions has been reduced from 25 to 5. No security clearance will be required before any registration or license issuance. We have to select the correct statement. So all these statements are actually correct. The correct answer to this question is option D, all of the above. The center has announced drone rules of 21. It has reduced the yellow zone from 45 kilometers to 12 kilometers from the airport perimeter. No permission is required for operating a drone in green zone and up to 200 feet in the area between 8 and 12 kilometers from the airport perimeter. Moving on, as per the rules, the coverage of drones has been increased from 300 to 500 kilometers to include heavy payload carrying drones and drone taxis. Hence, we have discussed that is why statement 1 is correct. The number of permissions has been reduced from 25 to just 5, and no security clearance will be required before any registration or license issuance. Also, the government has reduced the fees for permission to nominal levels. The maximum penalty has also been reduced to 1 lakh rupees. Moving on, which state of India has become the first state to officially implement the new education policy or national education policy? It is actually the state of Karnataka. So option C is correct. Karnataka has become the first state in the country to officially implement the national education policy, and the higher education department has introduced an admission module under the new policy. The process of admissions under the new policy will be initiated by the universities in the state. Let's move on to the practice question. With reference to nuclear fusion, consider the following statements. Heavy isotopes split apart to produce energy. It is the process that powers the sun, and it takes place in a state of matter called plasma. We have to select the correct statement. So that's it for today. I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. We shall meet tomorrow again with another segment. Until then, stay updated, stay safe, and thank you so much for watching.